Hi, I'm Joe Bailey, and this is 805 Sports Talk. This is our second edition of the show, and we've got a big show planned for you guys, mainly focusing on the high school playoffs. The biggest story of the playoffs so far has been the St. Joseph boys basketball team. The Knights have made it to the championship game in Division 5 AA. They play at Godinez High School Saturday night, but first off, we're going to talk about how they got there. They beat Riverside Woodcrest Christian Friday, and that was a pretty awesome semifinal game for the Knights, wasn't it, Elliott?
Yes, it was, and we were able to bring that to everybody live on our website, SantaMariaTimes.com. And Kenny Crest, my longtime partner in crime, and I were privileged to be able to bring you all that game. We had a great time doing it. The people at Woodcrest Christian were very gracious and helping us get set up and everything there, gave us some great spots. And we saw a really great basketball game. It was, I think, St. Joe's first real test, the kind of test they needed to pass if they want to win the next and, of course, more important game. It was a nip and tuck for that first half, and St. Joe's finally found the right gear and put it away in the second. But you felt that maybe St. Joe was in control, but they weren't putting anybody, they weren't beating anybody to death early in that game.
It was 22-16 at halftime. I thought Woodcrest Christian did a very good job of keeping the game at its tempo. St. Joseph looked as though it was able to speed up the game. Knights got it to 31-16. Then Alex Wright, I believe he's 6'5", Woodcrest Christian's point guard, went to work, made some, I thought, pretty tough 5-footers in the lane, bank shots. But when St. Joseph went on a second run, Woodcrest Christian didn't really have an answer. Gabrice Sadanakas really did a good job of keeping Alex Wright out of the lane in the fourth quarter. And St. Joseph consistently hit some outside shots, and St. Joseph outscored Woodcrest Christian 24-8 fourth quarter. And that's when the Knights really put the game away.
Yeah, Sadanikas kept Alex Wright from scoring pretty much in that fourth quarter. Wright got 15 of his 18 points in the first three quarters, including, as you mentioned, he went on a personal 8-0 run in that third quarter that kept Woodcrest Christian back in that game. But the Knights just had too many weapons. Their defense was outstanding, where there are supposed to be three guys, Hezekiah Banks and Johnny Tillman, who were going to be sharing the scoring. They didn't do that. They were shut down, and Tillman got 2 points, which is that's a dozen points below his game average, whereas JoJo Walker and Scott Macbeth really helped out the Knights. And so they spread the ball around so that you couldn't just concentrate on either Walker or Sadanikas. Although Walker at one point did his own one-man scoring spree, getting the first 9 points of the fourth quarter, and that's when they started to pull it away. But it wasn't comfortable until we were well into that fourth quarter that you could say, now you can take a deep breath. They're going to put this one away, and they're going to face fill in the blanks, which we now know is Flint Ridge Prep in the championship game.
With about 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, they had it put away. The margin was 10 after the third quarter. Both of us felt it wasn't an entirely comfortable 10. But St. Joseph started quickly in the fourth quarter. JoJo Walker hit a three-point shot pretty early in the fourth quarter, and Woodcrest Christian really never had an answer after that. But though I know the final score doesn't indicate it, I thought Woodcrest Christian was by far the best team St. Joseph has faced so far in the playoffs.
Well, they were 26-1 going into that game. They were a league champion. They had earned their spot and the respect that they were given by the CIF for their high ranking in this playoffs. But St. Joe is the #1 seed. Now they've got to face another tough team in Flint Ridge Prep. But it's a test, I think, that they can pass. I think they could come home with a championship in basketball. So I've got confidence that St. Joe's got one more game. And then because they've advanced this far, they make it into the state tournament. But that's for another program a couple weeks from now. Right now, their concern and ours is, can they beat Flint Ridge Prep in the championship game? Joe?
Yeah, Scott McBeth is a junior for St. Joseph. He had 16 points in that semifinal win over Woodcrest Christian. Knights were busy practicing this week, but I found some time to catch up with the junior at St. Joseph, Scott McBeth.
It seems like whenever the team needs those extra points, you've been there to hit a big three. You know, just watching you on the floor, it just seems like you're full of confidence out there. Just kind of talk a little bit about your individual season and what you've kind of been focusing on bringing to this team.
Well, I try not to be the star. I kind of try to let everybody else get their own shots, but when the team does need shots, like a three, I mean, I'm best at shooting threes, so I hit a three. I like to get my shots, but I don't want to take shots away from anybody else. I like to move the ball a lot, but if I'm hitting my shots, I'll keep shooting.
What's it mean to make it to the championship game with such a solid group of seniors that this team has?
Well, yeah, because we all played together last year, so it's like we have experience together, so that's why we were able to make it so far. We've been playing together for 2 years, and all these seniors, I mean, we all deserve it. Everybody's been working so hard over these past couple of years, so it just means a lot.
Finally, what do you guys know about Flint Ridge Prep in the championship game? What do you guys got to do to be successful Saturday, you know, in that championship game? What do you think that game is going to come down to?
I think we just need to push the ball as we usually do, just get fast break points. They got a couple pretty good guards, but they're not too big like us, so we're going to match up good with size. But I think we just need to push the ball. That's what's going to get us our points.
You think the bigness of the game has any impact on you guys?
I think that since we've made it this far, that we shouldn't have too much nerves. I mean, we earned it making it this far. We should just go out there and have fun and play.
Scott is a junior on this team, but the St. Joseph Knights are senior heavy. One of those seniors is Gabriel Sadanyankis from Lithuania. He's been the leading rebounder for the Knights this year. He was busy practicing earlier this week, and I caught up with him as well.
How do you feel about that game coming up?
I think we're super motivated. We're like waiting for it, you know, but there's nothing to be happy about yet because our job is not done yet. We still have one game, you know, the most important game in the season. So we're just really motivated.
What do you think got you guys to this point?
I think our work in practice, we work a lot individually, also as a team. Our coach pushes really hard. Then in the game, it's like that all our players can play, you know? We don't have like 1 or 2 really good players. The whole team can step it up, and like even if someone hits just 1 or 2 shots, it can be at a crucial time we really need that, you know? So,
okay.
And I think our defense is one of the biggest keys in our game.
Okay.
If we can defend, we're good.
How were you guys able to pull away against a really good team like that the way you guys did?
In the first half, we couldn't just make our shots. We were shooting like 20%. In the second half, we started hitting our shots. We felt a bit more confident. And because we traveled for a long time, the first half was kind of like get into the game, you know, start running, just feeling the game. And the second half, we just felt it and we just did what we do best.
Okay. How's it feel having a chance to win a championship for him?
Oh, it's great. I know he really wants that as much as we do, and he's a great coach. He pushes us every day in practice really to work harder, to put some extra work when we have free time. He's a great coach, and I hope we'll get what he wants.
All right, man. Good luck Saturday. Thanks, Gabriel.
Another St. Joseph senior is Christian Rubalcaba, one of the 8 seniors for the Knights, and he's talked a little bit about what this championship game means for the school. And the Knights are really motivated to bring the first championship at the school for Coach Tom Mott. So I caught up with Christian earlier this week at practice.
How do you feel about that, having that chance to win a championship for the school and kind of capping your senior year with the championship? How do you feel about that?
I mean, that'd be great for us because, I mean, we're kind of always the underdog, kind of like, oh, St. Joe's, like, and I mean, for us to do this is kind of big. We get a lot of, you know, a lot of people saying, like, oh, congrats, like, good luck, and I like it.
How do you feel about that matchup, and what do you think the team has to do to be successful? What do you guys got to focus on Saturday in the championship?
We just got to work on we just got to focus on our defense because, I mean, once our defense is locked in, our offense start kicking in, and we just go in transition, and we just do what we do best, and that's run.
Okay. Is that what you guys did Saturday night? It seemed like you guys, it was a tight game, and then you guys just pulled away, almost won by 30 points. Did you guys kind of lay back on your defense? You guys kind of rely on your defense? What did you do in that semifinal game to kind of pull away?
To pull away, I mean, yeah, in the first half we shot 20% from the field, which is not great. You're not going to win a game shooting that. So, I mean, when we come back the second half, we shoot 60% and our D just picks up and we get going.
Okay. And how do you feel about the senior group that you guys have? So many seniors on this team. You guys have a chance to win a championship with that same class, that final class. How do you feel about, just winning one for that group? Is that something that's special to you? Do you think about that at all, having so many seniors on this team?
Oh, I think about that a lot. I mean, we've all been playing with each other for years. I mean, since junior high, we played on the travel team together, and now we're like one big family, and we're just here our last year, and just gonna go get one.
Okay, and talk about that same kind of topic, but with Coach Mott. He doesn't have a championship here yet. You guys are right there. How's it? You guys have a little bit of extra motivation for that guy, and what he does for the school and for this program. How do you feel about, winning one for Coach Mott?
I mean, yeah, Coach Mott. I mean, we love him. He's like a dad to us. He takes care of us. He treats us well, and we're just gonna go out there and get one for him here.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Christian. Good luck Saturday night.
Thanks, Joe, for that insight into the St. Joseph basketball team as they get ready for a CIF final. My name's Jacob Rayburn. I typically cover the Lompoc Valley, and there was some really exciting sports in the Lompoc Valley the last couple of weeks. And two teams, unfortunately, were knocked out in semifinal games. Cabrillo's girls water polo team and the Lompoc High girls basketball team. Both games ended remarkable seasons for their respective teams. The Lompoc girls basketball team lost 43-42 to Duarte in a really physical, tough semifinal that had the energy of a championship game. The Braves played the defensive game plan that they wanted to have, and they really slowed down a tough and talented Duarte team that the Braves were just not able to get enough shots of their own to pull out the great win. The Cabrillo girls water polo team, for the second straight year, they fell in the semifinals. This was really tough for them. I can only imagine what that was like. They have talked all season with confidence about making a CIF final and winning and bringing a championship back to Cabrillo. So to have two semifinal losses is always tough. It's kind of wrapped up Lompoc Valley winter sports, and now we transfer into spring. We've got track and field, we've got swimming, and of course baseball. And I was fortunate enough Tuesday to watch opening day for Cabrillo. They actually opened their season against Lompoc Braves with an 8-2 win. I was able to talk to both coaches and several players about the upcoming season for the Braves and the Conchs as they look to both challenge for the Los Padres League title.
I think it was a tough league last year. It's going to be tough again this year. We played in a lot of close ball games last year. We came up short in a couple games, just 2 or 3 or 4 runs. It could have been a difference between second place and a league championship, and they know what that feels like. So they prepared themselves to make sure that when there's an opportunity to score runs, that we're going to try to do that. Make sure we pitch well, and I thought we pitched well today. And defense, I think we really worked hard on defense in the off season, and I think it showed pretty much today. We played pretty well defensively. Well, Phillip's going to be our #1 guy. He's pitched up here since he was a freshman. He had some innings as a freshman and more innings as a sophomore and even more innings as a junior. So he has the most innings of our pitching staff. So we're counting on him to be able to pitch in the big league games and to be able to pitch well in those games and to be able to, keep us close in those games. We know we're going to play well defensively, so our pitching staff knows they don't have to try to strike guys out all the time. They just got to make sure they make good quality pitches, and our defense is going to make the plays behind them. And offensively, I think with those 6 or 7 guys that we had returning from last year who had lots of innings, lots of at-bats, they understand what it takes also to be able to compete in the league, and so I think we're prepared that way for that.
I think we feel pretty strong about the season. We have a great club, a couple of young guys that are performing really, really well, and as a team, we came out and swung the bats, and we did everything we should have. And as a pitcher, our pitching staff is, I think, one of the best, and you really don't have to try very hard out there. You just got to go out there, bear down, get a few innings, and you're going to have a lot of good relief behind you. Our defense has been great, yeah, you don't have to try to strike everyone out. You can go out there, try to get a ground ball, try to get a fly ball, because your defense will take care of it, and that's exactly what we expected, and that's what we did.
And all these young guys especially have been putting in the work all year, so it's good to see them getting results, boost their confidence and everything. We're going to need them for the season, long season.
I think what happened today is what happens when we need to take first place, and that's what we're striving for. That's the goal. Number one goal is to come out Los Padres League champs, and we're very, very confident about that. We're coming for all the teams. CIF champs as well. That's what we're going for. We're going for the whole thing. We don't really want to lose a game, and I think everything played out well. It was great calls by Coach Osborne as well. He kept us calm throughout the whole game. And that's what needs to happen is what happened today. If we play like we did today, which we will for the rest of the season, we'll come out as league champs.
Well, about stolen bases, I mean, I just feel like I got caught stealing too many times, so that's something I've been working on, getting better reads, better jumps, making sure we're aggressive, because being the leadoff hitter, I know I need to set the tone for how the game's going to go, so I just try my hardest to get on base, whether it's a walk, base hit, whatever. I try to be aggressive, steal my bases, and yeah, that's it.
We're real young, I mean, but we got guys that, they play a lot of baseball, they know what they're doing, but we are way young. It's going to be a learning experience early. The way the league, gets started so early this year, it's going to be tough for these guys to learn, but, now they got 3 games under their belt. They're varsity baseball players, and we just got to start getting it done.
It's just coming out trying to get the guys in check each and every game, when everybody amped and ready to go.
Okay.
And I mean, you just gotta make sure everybody's doing their job.
We still do the same things. I mean, we still work hard every day. I mean, and talking about goals, I mean, we're here to win league. We don't come out to lose. I mean, as soon as the scoreboard goes up, we're out here to win. I mean, every one of them started to step up a little bit. We just got Jeffrey Ray back from basketball. Marcus just came back from basketball. So, normally they got a couple games to get under their belt to get going before we hit league, but league hits early, so we got to start turning it on real quick.
I'm more of a team player. I don't really mind how good or bad I do. I just want to come out and win every game. I think we can do big things. From what I see, we just got to catch fire and just keep working.
We spend so much time here talking about results, the scores, points per game, statistics. So it took a little bit of time earlier this week to kind of focus on the story behind all that, how these athletes get ready to play in these games, how they train and all that. And I caught up with Garth Porterfield at Coastline Youth Development in Grover Beach. They have a very unique kind of training regiment set up there. So I caught up with Garth, and he kind of talked to me what he's all about. He's a financial advisor by day and kind of has this passionate endeavor that he's kind of taken upon, working with these kids and training so many youth athletes. Bradley Mickey at Arroyo Grande, Elijah Holt I know has worked there, Sam Ness, a great linebacker for the Eagles. So we caught up with Garth Porterfield, and he kind of gave us some insight on what they do over there at Coastline.
Good, Savannah. Our goal here at Coastline Strength and Conditioning is to take any athlete that has the determination and drive, that wants to be the best that they possibly can, to give them that opportunity, whether they have the financial means to do it or not. We start with athletes from 9 years old all the way up to athletes that are going to college. We develop from where they're at, and we build a strong foundation, and then from that foundation we continue to grow to make them successful at whatever sport they choose. Yeah, our motivation to be the nonprofit was exactly that. We wanted to give back to the community. There's a need. We live in a very diverse, economically diverse area, and there are a lot of kids out there that really want to be able to take advantage of a place like this and learn proper strength and proper balance and agility and speed. But their parents may not be able to do it because they both have to work, and everything goes to paying a mortgage and putting food on the table. So with us, to be able to go out there and really educate kids on not only fitness but nutrition, that's where the nonprofit really fell into play, where it seemed like for us it would be the right way to go.
After the St. Joseph's basketball team's big win on Friday. There was still a lot of playoff action involving area teams. Saturday, I covered the Arroyo Grande girls water polo team's rematch with Martin Luther King of Riverside in the Division III championship game. Arroyo Grande defeated King 6-4 for the championship last year. This year, King's defense really dictated things the way I'm used to seeing Arroyo Grande's defense dictate things. I thought it was still anyone's game with about 3.5 minutes left in the third quarter. At that point, with King on a power play, a King girl chased down an offensive rebound in the right corner, made a really nice right-to-left pass to a teammate who one-timed it into the goal from the left post. That made it 3-1. King steadily pulled away from there for a 7-1 win, but it was a fine season for Arroyo Grande under Coach Stephen Allen. Arroyo Grande won another tournament title, stretched its Pac-8 winning streak to 128 games. Rigetti and Lompoc's girls basketball team played in semifinals on Saturday. Jacob already talked about Lompoc's semifinal. Rigetti played an Antelope Valley team, though I wasn't there covering the game. From what I read about the game and from what Rigetti coach Desiree Dominguez told me about Antelope Valley, the Antelopes are a very good team that deserved its #1 seeding. The Antelopes have people who can score, and Antelope Valley defends well. The final score was 59-41 Antelope Valley, but Rigetti had a very fine season under first-year coach Desiree Dominguez. It's pretty much the same group that won 9 games last year, made it to the semifinals this year. Santa Maria's boys soccer team played in the Division III semis Tuesday. The Saints upset second-seeded Chaffee of Ontario 2-1 in the quarters on Friday, but the Saints just could not crack a wall of the Redlands East Valley defense on Tuesday night. The game went into overtime. On the Wildcats' first real possession of overtime, Jonathan Garcia broke away, and he just popped a pretty sweet left-to-right shot. There was really nothing that Santa Maria goalie Albino Guatemala, who had saved the Saints several times with some tough saves, could do on that one. The shot went in for the golden goal. Redlands East Valley won 1-0, but a very fine season for the Saints under coach Eduardo Cunha. They won the Los Padres League Championship, made a nice playoff run, and that pretty much caps playoffs, save for St. Joseph in the big game on Saturday.
So water polo is done. Now we've been lucky, we've actually seen 3 championships out of the last 4 water polo tournaments, with Rigetti boys winning twice and Arroyo Grande's girls winning once, but they weren't able to do it this year. And wrestling, well, they still have a state meet to go. But basketball, soccer, boys and girls, we have 31 title matches still to come, and a whole bunch of them are this weekend in the boys and girls basketball. So there's a lot of action before the winter season is actually done. There'll be plenty of kids still playing, and then they're going to transition right into the spring sports. Now, we just opened the spring season. There's some baseball and softball games that have already been played. We're getting calls and highlights from tennis, boys tennis, boys volleyball, and boys golf. Swimming and diving is getting underway, and track and field. Now, the one thing that's interesting about track and field, we just started the season with a Santa Maria City meet. Now, that's unusual. That's like in pro tennis, they open the season with the Australian Open. That's a major tournament. Golf doesn't open its season with the Masters. They wait a few months, actually, before they get into their big championships. But the city season, the track and field season, they get underway with the city meet. Bragging rights for the whole year right off the bat. It does, though, put an instant excitement into the track and field season. And one of the things I like about that is it gives a lot of publicity to one of the sports that doesn't get it. There's football, basketball, baseball, softball get an awful lot of press. But it's always great to see the kids competing, and hundreds of kids competing in something like the city meet. It was a great way to open the season.
Thanks, Elliott. And one of the things that is new this spring is that we have a new team to cover. Cabrillo has added boys volleyball. They've wanted to do it for a very long time. Coach Petula has taken over. He's a longtime volleyball coach in the area, and now he gets to coach boys volleyball at Cabrillo. And I am a volleyball fan, and I understand that it's incredibly difficult to start any program from scratch, especially volleyball. And I'm curious about what the rest of you guys think about having a new team that we get to cover, and also some of the other things we get to look forward to this spring.
Yeah, no, obviously I think it's great that there's another program in the area, but it kind of begs the question, what took so long to start the program? You know, boys volleyball, I think in the Central Coast, volleyball in general is pretty popular. So, you know, Lompoc or Cabrillo haven't had boys volleyball before, so it kind of makes you wonder what was it that was kind of preventing them, you know? And I think maybe something to do with it might be baseball is such a popular sport in the area. You know, Lompoc Valley baseball is huge. You know, we got Vandenberg Village Little League, Lompoc Little League, you know, Babe Ruth League. So, you know, was it the popularity of one sport kind of didn't allow boys volleyball to kind of flourish in the Lompoc Valley? It's just an interesting topic to me, you know, with boys volleyball, and I think it's great. And I mean, Aaron Batula coaching Cabrillo is just so interesting, with him being a long-time girls volleyball coach. You know, it's just an interesting story, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to follow. You know, obviously starting a new program, it's not going to be easy. There's going to be some growing pains out on the court, but, you know, it's just an interesting story. It's fun to talk about, and, you know, with Batula over there coaching it, it's just fun to see, you know, something like that happening.
But he's got a lot of success in his background, and he'll bring that experience to the court. And the kids, while that may be their first time competing, and they may take their lumps the first year or so, he'll get them in volleyball shape and in their volleyball mentality pretty quickly. So I like it when any school adds. Wasn't that long ago that Cabrillo didn't have a girls golf team, and they had one girl that was the one-girl golf team, and she couldn't win a tournament because they count the top 5 scores, and she would go and she'd compete anyway, and she dragged friends and anybody. And now they've got a nice girls golf team, and Lompoc did the same thing with their water polo team. They didn't have one for the longest time, and so it's always nice to see them add a program to give kids more opportunity. And really, for me, that's what the biggest thing is about, because not every kid is going to be a great baseball player, but that doesn't mean they can't be an athlete of some kind. There's track and field, and that's big down in Lompoc Valley, and big up here in Santa Maria, big up in Arroyo Grande. And you can do that as an individual, you can do that as part of a team. There's swimming and diving. So every opportunity you give the kids to compete helps them with the camaraderie, with the teamwork, with them to build confidence for the life that they want to build in the future. Some will get college scholarships. Believe me, as a father of a college graduate, I know how important scholarships are. Others will just do it because it will make them better people, but I don't see them ever anything hurting them. So it's always great to give them more opportunities to compete, to learn, and to make themselves better people.
Yeah. You mentioned something about newer sports. Cheerleading has just been added as a sport, and speaking of cheerleading, the Orchid Academy cheerleading squad qualified for the Nationals. Meanwhile, when it comes to more established sports, several wrestlers advanced to the state tournament. Alex Lopez of Santa Maria won at the CIF Southern Section Masters meet, always a very high caliber meet. He was a 132-pound champion. After winning the 132-pound championship at the Southern Section Northern Division meet that Santa Maria hosted. Ricardo Alonso, of Pioneer Valley, Antonio Ramirez of Rigetti, and Isaiah Hughes of Oro Grande also advanced to the state tournament. And Tiffany Santana of Pioneer Valley qualified for the girls' national tournament. She placed 4th at the state tournament. So a very good showing for her to accomplish her season-long goal.
Once again, thank you guys for tuning in to 805 Sports Talk. This is our 2nd edition. We hope to bring you many more. The next scheduled one is for March 18th, so keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, make sure to follow us on social media, SMT Sports Desk at Twitter, My Twitter feed is jbailey_SM_sports. Also look out for Jacob Rayburn on Twitter at JNRayburn. Also on Facebook, SMT Sports. Make sure to follow us, and thanks for tuning in.
And of course, you can read our newspaper daily, or go online to SantaMariaTimes.com, LompocRecord.com, SanInezValleyNews.com, AdobePress.com, and 5 Cities Time Press Recorder. So make sure you follow us. We're there everywhere, and we're in print, we're online, and we're bringing all of the Central Coast sports to you. But we want to thank you for being with us, and join us next time for 805 Sports Talk.